Welcome everyone. Adam the Woo here as a recording of this Wednesday, April 20th, 2022. Standing at the threshold of Market Street here in Celebration, Florida. My homestead, where I reside. An interesting twist on Walt Disney's vision of Epcot. Not exactly what he had in mind, but kinda, sorta, in a weird way. I've talked about a lot, that sort of thing over my tenure here. But there is something else that I want to tie into Walt and Epcot and why Walt Disney World exists as we know it. Almost, I think I was like channeling Jim Varney there. Here, from Ernest Saves Christmas, in Central Florida, there is some news that's come out today that there is going to be some large changes to WDW and the way they operate if Florida, the state of Florida, has their way. And I am kind of impartial to the whole thing, but I find it very fascinating. Whatever happens, you just kind of roll with it. It has nothing really to do with my life so much. The park still will stay open. I will still be able to live here. In fact, Celebration is not part of Disney property anymore. But really, history of the Disney Corporation and especially Walt Disney World really holds a special place in my heart. And I want to cover this subject matter because this is very relevant, relevant or prevalent, one of those words. Join me, shall you? Classic car alert. Very nice. Reedy Creek could be going away. There is a real possibility that Reedy Creek will be a thing of the past very soon. A bill went into effect, it was signed. I think it's going to the next step. Now keep in mind also, I am not an expert, on all this stuff. Just throwing out some opinions, some thoughts, mulling around in the head. But Reedy Creek, the district that Reedy Creek was part of, had to do with improving the almost 40 miles, square miles, of WDW. And that might not be something that will happen anymore. And it's something that has been going on for well over 50 plus years, 2 or 3 years before Walt Disney World even opened in October of '71, when Magic Kingdom first reared its head to the public. It's going to be very different if, a big if, but a good possibility that Reedy Creek ceased to exist. Things are going to be changing around here. What is Reedy Creek exactly? It is an area that self-governs itself. So it takes care of business on its own, whether that be the fire department, taking care of roads, taxation, things like that. If that goes away, Osceola, by the way, you can see a 7:05 p.m. look at this clock. This reminds me of clocks that are on Main Street, USA, both Disneyland and here in Florida at Magic Kingdom. But if that goes away, there is a possibility, as I said, I am not an expert on any of this, that Osceola and Orange County here in Florida will see higher taxation rates for those 40 miles because those areas will have to take care of fixing roads, servicing things. Could the fire departments be switched over to those counties instead of being Reedy Creek? Will the name Reedy Creek even exist anymore? Most likely yes. But who knows? I certainly do not. In the next few days, it will all come to fruition. And as this guy is out here doing a little bit of fishing, showing the hotel over there. And as I was saying, this is kinda, sorta, an Epcotian type of place. Downtown Celebration, because people live here, and Epcot Center originally was not just going to be a theme park. It was going to have themed things, but it was also going to be an area where people could live, shop, and work. And when Walt decided to bring Disney World to Central Florida, he knew that he'd have to cut through some of the red tape, and that's why he came up with the idea, and at that time, Florida agreed to it, the idea of Reedy Creek instead of, so that's Osceola. That's Osceola County there. One of the counties, well, that and Orange, that might end up picking up the slack if Reedy Creek goes away. And again, whatever the decision is, really does not affect me at all, other than from a fascinating standpoint on history and to see how it all plays out if that decision is made, you know, over the next series of years and what the history, it could be good, it could be bad. No one really knows when a decision is made, but time will tell. Change is inevitable, and obviously when Walt was here in the late 60s, a few years prior to the 71 openings, things were different in the state then. His concept, and even the way Florida operated things, might have been different there. The vision was there. This is kind of an unusual, to put it lightly, an unusual time in the company of Walt Disney, the corporation, the entity of the Walt Disney's vision. Is it like what he would want it to be? Is he looking back? You know, he's passed on, but is he looking either down or from up, whichever direction, thinking, this is how I wanted it to be? I don't know. No one really knows. I never met the man. Is 7:17, I'm asking myself, too late for a piping hot caffeinated beverage from the coffee stand across the way there? I think not. Actually got a little nap in today, which was nice. Got back, flew in last night from Chicago. Got a little snooze on today for a couple hours. How beautiful is this pre-sunset? Sunset's slowly making its way over on the horizon there. Now this is technically not Reedy Creek, but once I get out of Celebration, cross over onto what is now, for a while this was owned, or you know, Walt Disney World had a hand in this. They were the one that created it, opened back in '94 Celebration. But as far as I know, Reedy Creek does not have, you know, any part of Celebration at the moment. But once you cross over I-4, I'll show the Mickey Power Pole, that is when you get into the Reedy Creek, the 39 mile approximate, just under 40 square miles that Reedy Creek takes care of. That is their zone, that is their district. Also, take a look at Howard right there, not even moving. Howard is the fake duck. Right over there. You know, Howard the duck, the movie. That duck doesn't move. It's a decoy duck. Not owned by Reedy Creek. Now this is interesting. This is where Reedy Creek is. Everything that's outlined, the darker colors. Celebration is right here, so not part of Reedy Creek. As again, it doesn't affect me, but about a mile or two away, it affects all that. Interesting. That right there is Celebration. So Celebration is kind of right in the middle of all this. It's also good to be back in my personal vehicle, Big the Foot. Had the rental car the last week up in Chicago. Good to be back. It is a beautiful eve. Sun just about to set over there. And even though not going into the parks to film, it is appropriate to show the Mickey Power Pole here at I-4 westbound. I-4 westbound, more times than not, always backed up. Always bottlenecks right about here. Okay, I'm now, as of now, going into the Reedy Creek district. As of today, it still exists. And this is looking back the opposite direction. That traffic goes back for miles and miles and miles and miles every day around this time. Reedy Creek Improvement District Tour. Last look, April 2022. Well, first look, because I don't think I've ever shown any of the Reedy Creek stuff or talked about it before. In fact, I think a lot of people are now wondering, what the heck is Reedy Creek? It's all over the news. RCID. The headquarters right here. Now my assumption, again, I don't really know much, my assumption is that even worst case scenario, if Reedy Creek disbands and it gets taken over by either Osceola or Orange County, these buildings still will remain. Also, if you wait for it, there's a Skyliners going by over there. Because obviously you need a fire department here on property. But it might, the name probably still will stay Reedy Creek, but the ID may go away. Very interesting turn of events this week. And waving up there in the breeze is the Reedy Creek flag. Also the Florida state flag, a US flag. The Reedy Creek is the one closest to me. Nice little breeze today. It's a beautiful evening. All right, gonna head over to another one. I think there's 4 of these on property, stationed all around the almost 40 acres that WDW owns, the Reedy Creek development or district. See if I can find the other ones. And also over on Hotel Drive is the main headquarters. Stop by there too. Also, I'm noticing here at the former Preview Center, also I'll give a little strobe light warning because the lights from this wrecker behind me are flashing pretty good, so if that is bothersome to any of the viewers, just a heads up as I turn the camera here. I'm noticing there is some news people over here with a drone. It is frowned upon to fly a drone on WDW property. So they must be proper credentials to have the drone going. But up top, there's got the drone. This is pretty big news. This is a pretty big event. But I parked over here at the former Preview Center, which is the athletic union now, which for quite a while before Magic Kingdom opened, so that was the first park, there was only one back in '71 until Epcot opened in '82. This was the Preview Center. They had a big model in here. They had some characters out front. They had some cast members, the first cast members ever on property. And it really is fitting that next to the Preview Center is where the headquarters for Reedy Creek are. Fountains are on. I'm not really sure what's going on. They're focusing more on those wreckers than they are anything else. But Reedy Creek headquarters is right next to the athletic union, which was the Preview Center for quite a while until Disney World opened. Obviously there are good and bad points. You can see both sides when it comes to Reedy Creek having their hand in the acreage, in the mileage of 38, 39 miles. One of the things that is a positive is there's not a time differential between road work. For example, when the news broke, I was watching a few newscasts and reading some articles, and that seemed to be the most prevalent thing that anyone was bringing up, was how the roads would be, that and the taxations that could change. But will some potholes develop? Because they won't be fixed instantly like they would. You know, just a quick call saying, hey, get the road guys out there and take care of it without having to go through the county or the state or the cities. This is it. Here at 1900 Hotel Plaza Boulevard, Reedy Creek Improvement District. This is the sign. And really, you know, it's interesting. I've never walked over here from the former Preview Center before. I have never checked this out. So in a way, this is a learning experience for me as well. This is a kind of a futuristic looking building. Will this end up turning into something else? Or will it stay the main offices for Reedy Creek? This is a cool looking building. Look at this thing. How did this slip past my radar all these years? This little design work over on the side, right there. It's very, very close. It's just the next property over from where the preview center was. I have a preview center mug. They put out some retro merchandise recently, and I have a coffee mug at my house that I'll make coffee in the mornings sometimes. And that's just sits adjacent to this. Look at this building. This is awesome. All the offices up in there. That has to be quite a conversation piece around the water cooler today inside there, and will be tomorrow. Should know pretty soon what's going to happen. I think it's interesting about, doing videos, getting out of the house and seeing things, and then when a new development happens and you want to learn about it, you go to places you've never been to before. I always knew about Reedy Creek and always would spout out those facts and figures of people that would visit and go, oh, there is a district. It is not, taken care of by the city, the state, the county. Disney has its own, government system. But now, I've been to the building. Sometimes it takes certain turn of events to get you to go places and learn things, to get a little more in depth. And that's what's happening right now. Now I'm going to walk back over my car next to the Athletic Union, where the preview center was, promoting WDW all those years ago. See if I can find the other fire stations. There's a couple more. They still got the flashing lights over there for whatever reason. It is no secret. I love history, and I love Disney history, Disney World, Disneyland. This is fascinating to me. It inspired me. There's my shadow down here. I thought about not even filming. Got back from Chicago last night. Just kind of had a relaxing day, taking care of personal stuff, things like that. And then I saw this and I said, heck it. This has to be documented for posterity. Maybe no one will care. I care. Sounds like the Breakfast Club. Seems like it's just one thing after another, after another, after another. The Disney Corporation recently, especially since this is the 50th anniversary of the Florida parks. A lot of the decisions, they're making, probably not the best. This isn't the finest hour for the corporation. I will say that. I still enjoy going. I love going to the parks, have a lot of nostalgia, a lot of good memories. Still an annual pass holder, DVC member. I'm no longer a shareholder. Thank goodness. Sold my stocks when they were well above what I paid for them, because that is in a decline at the moment. It'll go back up. The company will rebound, but this is probably just another hurdle that they are facing. Not their finest hour. I wouldn't say it's their worst hour, but not their finest hour. Another interesting thing about all this is the fact that one of the biggest tourism markets for the state are the parks. But now it's kind of like Florida versus Disney in a weird way. It's an interesting time. And located over here at 1920 East Buena Vista Drive is yet another the fire departments of Reedy Creek. This is a pretty amazing looking building also. And there's a big helmet out in front. I've never seen this building either. It's kind of tucked away. One of the back roads around Disney Springs. This is a pretty cool architecture. And it might be tough to see under the shroud of nightfall, but there is a fire hose over there as well. So you got the helmet out front. It's a very impressive looking architectural building. There is a fire hose fountain. Look at that. That is pretty dang neat. This slipped past my radar till now. And a better look there at the fire helmet. RCFD. I am now running parallel to the Polynesian Resort, heading over to another one of the stations, just past the golf course shades of green and the entrance to the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa right here. Just doing a little exploring. This one not as fancy as the other one, but has an architectural style of its own as well. Almost Art Deco-ish. I like it. And since I'm passing by the Speedway, stop in. Show this neat little mural that's on the back side of this. This is the gas station closest to TTC, Transportation Ticket Center. There is a fuel station here with a retro mural on the side of the Speedway. Oh, that's pretty neat, timing it perfectly with the fireworks across the lagoon over there. And that mural I was talking about, let's see if I can get one more little burst of the fireworks going up in the air. Is one going up? There it is. One more little burst there. But the mural I'm talking about, I've shown this before, but it's been a while. Pretty neat. They have the family up here. Someone in the back seat with the Mickey ears on. You got the Griswold-esque station wagon. Also says Speedway gets you there. The little orange on the side of the Welcome Center sign. And yes, Walt Disney World, the retro Walt Disney World bumper sticker here. The Vacation Kingdom of the World. Can't tell what their license plate says because it's kind of blurred out, but that's, I always like this here on the side of the Speedway as one of the buses goes by that fuels up behind where I'm at and looking way across over at Magic Kingdom. Pretty neat little view from here. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. This wasn't supposed to be about fireworks, but how can I not stop and look at this? So cool. And it appears as if the fourth and final station for Reedy Creek is right next to the solar-powered Mickey D's. Also did not realize that till just now. I've been to the solar-powered Mickey D's a couple times. Didn't realize there was a Reedy Creek station right next to it. And it appears as if even at 9:15 at night, there is a beehive of activity of those leaving the parks wanting to get a little late evening snack. There's the foliage golden, or not the golden arches, but the foliage arches right there. The green M being spelled out in leaves on the side of it. And noticing from here, there is signage saying authorized vehicles only, but that is the fourth and final, as far as my recollection, station for Reedy Creek. Tucked away back in here next to the solar-powered Mickey D's near Animal Kingdom. So went by Hotel Drive, went by opening into downtown Disney Springs, talked about some new developments, the state of Florida versus Walt Disney World. It's almost like a soap opera of sorts, went by the four departments, by the preview center, went by the Reedy Creek headquarters, and solar-powered Mickey D's, which I will not be waiting in that line. Big the Foot, any thoughts, any assumptions, any opinions? What do you think about all this, Big the Foot? You just like waving in the breeze? That's kind of my stance on it too. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out over the next series of days. The state of Florida versus Disney. Who'd have ever thought it would come down to this? One of Walt's dreams, you know, Epcot Center, never, his dream of Epcot Center never took place. Became a theme park. But he wanted to have the government system not be in the state, not be in the county. And he achieved that for well over 50 years, 52, 53 years, a couple years prior to the opening of WDW. That could all be coming to an end soon, Big the Foot. Very interesting. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over. I like how Big the Foot just stays neutral on all of it.